everything good comes to an end. And Chica and I, we have been covering the Seiko Open Week 2022 event here in Frankfurt, actually in the lab and I would say the headquarters of Seiko Instruments. And who's better to give an evaluation of the event so far than Ali, that is working with Seiko, and you're head of everything here we see, right?
Head of the department, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I have been taken up the position from the 1st of March. And we have a small team here. I mean, all our heads are manufactured in Japan, but we have a small team here to directly support our customers. We have a warehouse here. We have been giving the tours of our warehouse as well. So the idea is basically to have a small team that works with the people to grow the business.
And the event, this is the second time you do it.
Right.
I mean, I tell you, everybody that we've been talking about are so positive because it's like, of course, the denominator is the printheads, but it is machine manufacturers, it is test bedding, it's ink manufacturers, it's electronics. It's the entire value chain on a very, very high level of skilled people here. How did you come up with the idea about being so nerdy?
So, to be honest, I come from a technical background.
Okay.
So I was an engineer, and I worked in an R&D field. In the inkjet industry, I work in the R&D field. And I realized that it's important that printheads need their entire inkjet ecosystem to work well. So you can't just go ahead and say, okay, here's the printhead. It prints at 360 dpi. It prints at 37 kilohertz. It gets 150 meters per minute. People are like, okay, give it to me. I'll make a print out of it. And I'll be like, no. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
You need the electronics. You need the ink system. And most importantly, you need the right ink.
And that is what I think is so great here, because I mean, I don't know if you agree in this, but I have always believed very much in partnerships and collaboration. And this is actually what you live here, right? Because I mean, your printheads, as good as they are, you need the inks, you need the control electronics, you need all the things around it, right?
Exactly.
And so do they. They need the printheads. They need in order to make their businesses right.
Exactly. I mean, we call printheads print engines many times because we are a core part of the machine, but we're not the only part of a machine.
Yeah.
I mean, a car cannot run with just an engine, right? You need the entire car chassis, you need the wheels, you need everything. So the idea is that we bring all these different partners together, collaborate in one event, and then bring it forward to the world, bring it forward to the machine manufacturers or integrators, and show them what's possible.
Would you say, sorry to interrupt, but would you say also that even though it's I would say it's kind of a known playing field, do you still also get like surprises yourself also with a technical background? You're like, okay, somebody has used your printheads in totally new applications or totally new machines, and the Open Week is basically the frame for this, or is everything known to you?
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, the way we are working and the idea of this event, basically, we are welcoming 80% of our existing customers, but 20% of these customers are new.
Okay, that's nice,
Yes,
isn't it?
Yeah. So we do a lot of marketing about this event on LinkedIn. We send out some emails, and we also ask our ink manufacturers.
Oh, so they also do
Yes,
it.
so because they are also here.
Yeah.
I mean, they are also here, and they are also showing with our printheads their inks and how they work. You know, there is a good adhesion, the color is good, or something like that. So they are also here. So they are also bringing their customers. So it's a collaborative event. So it's an open week, and we call it Seiko Open Week because it's taking place in our facility, but it would not have been possible without our partners.
We appreciate that we are here to cover it. It's really been fun and very education, and I hope the films we do will support also all yours and your partners the teaching and learning caution for the industry, of course.
Because last year we did not do this, and we thought that the 1 week worth of investment that we did was just remaining to that 1 week. And this is exactly why we spoke about it. I spoke to Henrik about it, and he was like, hey, Ali, you want to take up this opportunity from us and do this kind of interviews? I was like, that's a good idea. We can use this as a, it's not about marketing, but it's also about the knowledge.
It's a knowledge and a platform, because basically, whatever way you look at it, you are in the engine room of the whatever machine is produced here. So you cannot just have a superficial marketing of the things. You need to know what you're talking about, right?
Correct. Yeah, and that's important, right? And you bring these machine manufacturers, integrators, basically, together, and you tell them to speak about the printhead.
Precisely.
And we don't tell them, okay, you have to tell everything right about the printhead.
Yeah.
So we do 360 DPI,
Yeah.
and that's it. I mean, but why 360 DPI is important for certain markets? Example, decor printing, ceramics printing. 360 DPI is more than enough. Now, you need to know how to use the printhead well to get the best out of it.
Precisely,
And that's what we can do
Yeah.
with these machines here.
Let's talk a little bit about the market and the potential, because I mean we have been talking to all the specialists here, and I'm curious about, because you have invested, or you're starting to invest in also in textile by employing more people here. We spoke to Fabian, but I was also thinking that in all industries, the additive manufacturing production methods like inkjet and 3D and all these kind of things requires printheads, requires the technology that also Seiko is developing. What is the sky the limit, or where do you see the market going?
Sky is the limit. Yes, that's true. We've done some study. I mean, it's a little bit older study, so maybe the numbers have changed. But printing as an industry is about €1 trillion.
Only.
And I think inkjet printing has just about reached, I think, 100 million. I think 1 billion.
Okay.
I mean, inkjet.
So there's
inkjet
still
is
like
one,
a huge potential, right?
Exactly. So do you know that's 1,000 times more.
Yeah.
And there are many advantages, there are many disadvantages, or let's say challenges, which need to be overcome. But we need to work with the industry. We had some people coming in who are coming from the analog field, and they are telling us what they would want in an inkjet an inkjet machine or inkjet printer, and then we are learning from them. So we divide our business or our marketing into 4 divisions. So 4 pillars basically. Ceramics.
Yeah.
This is currently more than 80% of our business, and we work still in this business. So we are developing products for this industry. The second one is with corrugated cardboard. So this is something what we are now working with a few players who have already launched machines, and we are developing new products for this industry. Example, water-based print heads and more DPI. It will take time, but this is where we are going there. Exactly. And then there's the textile, as you rightly said. So textile and corrugated will go more or less hand in hand. The inks will be different.
Is it some of the same challenges from a technical perspective?
Exactly. Both of them are, right now the corrugated is UV based, but in the future it's going to be, we are getting requests for water based.
Yeah.
So we're slowly moving towards that, and textile is water based. So when we are solving the issues and challenges with the corrugated, we think that our products will also be ready for the textile industry. So we have 3, as I said, ceramics, corrugated and textiles. And apart from this, we have another division which we have kept it open. This is where people can dream, ideate, come up with new challenges where we work with them. So embellishments like varnishes, I think you've
like
seen
the
here.
one we see behind you.
Exactly.
Right?
It is the one where there are 2 varnishes. There's a glossy varnish and a matte varnish. These have different viscosities. There are also possibilities to make it, as you said, you print in a different fashion, you can get a matte effect out of it, which gives you this premium look for a wine label or something like that.
Totally cool. Yeah.
And then there are metal particles that can be printed and you can get like a
so that is also something
gold
that,
or
like
something.
metal, because we saw from what was the guy, the young guy that was Koa, is it called the Cow?
Cow, yes.
But painting with the black ink that turned silver or like into a mirror.
Yes.
Is that like the same what you're talking about? Or?
Exactly. This is like there are metal particles inside. So they call this a silver nano ink. That's what they are showing here. It's a silver nano ink. So this ink, one step behind was there were a lot of metallic inks available in the market.
Yeah.
But to get a good finish is one thing, so that's like the way you look at it, but it's also functional. So they have 2 versions of the ink, which one is making it to look good, and the other one is for conductivity. You can check the it works well.
Yeah, because we also saw the printed electronic as an example.
Exactly. So these kind of different challenges that are being thrown to us, and we have to go back. We check the compatibility, which we have the lab for in Germany. So we get these kind of different inks, and what we do here is we check the compatibility. So the printhead is made up of, I don't know, it looks like 100 different parts with all different glues. The Japanese engineers are really, the brains behind it. So they check which one works well for what application. And what they do is they send us these parts here, and we put these in small bottles and check the compatibility of these parts with the ink that the ink manufacturers have made.
Yeah, fantastic. And that is also like when you see the PNC test batch, is that also for that kind of purpose?
Exactly. So after the material compatibility has been tested, the next step is to check the waveform and the printing. So because that's the end game, right? So you need to go to the printing stage, but you don't want to put an ink in a printhead and then suddenly have a situation where the printhead is breaking or it's breaking. So we do step by step. What we do is we accept any ink that our partners have developed, and then we do a test of that material compatibility, and then we go to the waveform as a drop watcher. So I think you would have seen here to Meteor, and they develop and we develop the waveform for it, and then we have these small test machines here. We do the first initial trials.
So it is really truly a partnership of bringing a product to market, because all the components, they need to work together in order to actually get to market, right?
Exactly. And this is the minimum MVP, a minimum viable product. So if before we had all this kind of a setup and this kind of a collaboration, it was always that when people wanted to get into inkjet, they had to buy a printhead, buy the electronics, buy the ink system, put everything together, which costs a lot of money already, and then you need to have the know-how to put all these things together and make it work. But what we have done is, working with People and Technology, our main event partners in this, what they have done is they put a small machine together, and this small machine can help you test. So that 20 hours
kind of a very early kind of prototyping, basically.
Exactly. So minimum viable, to get a process MVP. So you would have probably spent like 100 to 200 hours of manpower to put all these things together. Well, that costs money. I mean, time is money, right? So instead of that, just buy a small machine, and then you can make your tests yourself. If you don't want that as well, you can also use the services we provide. We provide engineering
so you can basically say that, okay, I want this and I would like you to do this, so you buy engineering power from Seiko to help you.
Exactly. So we are offering that as well. So we have the lab, right? And the lab is in Europe, so it's easier for you to come here. And we have a number of partners around here. So we can also say, okay, if we can't do it, we can ask somebody. There's going to be a charge. I mean, there's going to be some cost to it. Yes,
always a charge to things.
Exactly, but the amount of money that you spend on that and the amount of money you would actually spend if you do everything by yourself is
uncomparable.
Is
of course, last round, I would like to talk a little bit more about the market, because one thing is that the applications is like sky is the limit, as you spoke about. But I was just thinking from a Seiko perspective, is that this is not about taking market share. This is more about finding the customers, because you can convert. I mean, I think a good example is, I think we spoke to some of your guests here, where they said, like, for example, already if you look at the tiles and the ceramics, it's basically already converted almost entirely to digital, right? So there's a very mature market. But if you look around in the market, there's like vinyl and all the other markets that are not mature to digital so far. It is about getting these customers interested in actually talking to you, right?
Exactly. So this is where I was telling you, where we have support from our ink manufacturers, because ink manufacturers don't really only manufacture ink for inkjet, but they also do for flexo.
Of course, because they basically have that bridge that you sometimes need.
Exactly. So we work with them closely, and we find out, okay, you have the contacts already, you know the problems they're facing, you know what needs to be done, you also have the inkjet inks. So you need a tool, and that tool can be we as printhead manufacturers and the integrators or the machine manufacturers.
Fantastic.
So all of us working together, we can make, grow the inkjet cake together.
So it's just,
and we all have something to work with.
And I also spoke to one of your guests here saying that, because as a layman, I cannot judge the difference between the printheads. I can just see, does it look great, what comes out? Yes, it does, more or less, right? And then the speed, of course. But he said that basically, if you look at the I think it was Mark Bale actually, he said that it's extremely variations in how you solve different problems from manufacturer to manufacturer. And I think that what I heard here about Seiko is that you have something that is very robust and very reliable, and we saw from the 1536 how you have the recirculation so easily taking up the nozzle redundancy. I mean, everything just looks so great. So it must be a very nice spot to be in for Seiko right now.
True. This is again the philosophy or the idea of Seiko as a company. So we went from inside out. We developed the printhead for the functionality, for the industrial problems that are there. So industry does not like downtime. They need to have uptimes, and as much uptimes you can give them, that's the benefit your product can give them.
Yeah.
And that's how we started developing the product. So we were kind of late even in the
So
ceramics.
you just started trying identifying where the bottlenecks would be and see if you could solve them technically, basically.
And that's how the recirculation came into existence.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
2014, we launched the RC1536.
Okay, yeah.
We've been developing the product.
Yeah.
We've got the water-based version. We've got an H version.
Yeah.
So it's still going on. I
Yeah.
mean, the development is happening for that product, and it's always with the industry. So we ask the industry, what do you want? How can we make the product more fine-tuned for your application? And that's what what it was all about. One thing what I want to add is, this is for the existing customers, so when the existing customers are coming in, we are trying to open our doors and show them what other things they can do. Okay,
So the same customers can basically, because they already know how it is working with Seiko, now they can take it into different directions to
Exactly.
extend their markets.
Exactly.
Last question here, I promise you. Will there be a Seiko Open Week next year as well?
I would love to have it.
Okay, fantastic. Let's hope.
We have done the survey for it, so let's see what responses we get.
I'm
and
sure it will.
hopefully it'll be there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Martin.